This thing handles like nothing, probably like nothing you've ever driven. What's up, guys? Let's take this Goblin for a spin. I'll show you guys how it runs. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're probably wondering about that jump box. I thought I had the battery on the charger, but I did not. So we just zip tied a jump box to right there, and we'll make sure we get that all figured out. There we go. Yeah. That mirror's off. There we go. So these things are a lot of fun to drive. You get so many people looking at you, which is really most of the enjoyment. How everyone just wants to stare at you and ask you what it is, and you know, if you drive something like this, that is pretty exciting. They also want to they also want you to race them, and then when you race them and you smoke them, it's super cool and super fun. This thing handles like nothing, probably like nothing you've ever driven. And even right now, with only about 160, 170 horsepower, I mean, it pulls very hard. It's very snappy, very quick. And if you've ever driven a go-kart, you know, open wheel vehicle, you see everything. You know what I mean? You see the suspension moving up and down, and so if you're wondering why I'm selling this, I've had this for about maybe 8 months. I was super excited to get it. And my plan was I was just gonna pretty much drive it the way it was, put a dealer tag on it, and I thought it'd be good. I rode it around on the road for a little while, and I got in trouble. And because it doesn't have a body or fenders or anything like that, so it was more just like, the cop was like, I don't know. He's like, it's questionable. Did some more research. Now, you have to finish the project, but then there's a couple reasons why this is not the car for me. One, this is the 2.2 Ecotech motor, which right now is like 175, somewhere around that horsepower out of the Chevy Cobalt, the base one. This motor, with a lot of mods, you can get well over 400, 500 horsepower. But you have to jump into the engine internals to throw some power adder on there, like a turbocharger or supercharger. You can take it to about 225. With another 50 horsepower on top of this would be a lot more power. It just doesn't get it to where I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be ridiculous. You know, sub 3 seconds, you know, 0 to 60 in 2.5 seconds. I wanted it to be just stupid fast. So you got that, and I was actually looking for around 350 horsepower is what I was shooting at. So I would have to rebuild the engine. I couldn't just throw a turbo or supercharger on there. On top of that, so that was kind of a limiting thing. So for me to, it would have been much. So okay, that's kind of that. The paperwork for me to get this thing street legal, that's also kind of like, it's not really my thing. I'm not good at that stuff. You know what I mean? Although I am a dealer, I don't know how I became a dealer. But the paperwork would be a big deal. And because I wasn't looking for a giant project. I was looking for more like, let's throw some body on it and take it on the road. You know what I mean? Let me have some fun, and then, you know, just do my thing. Also, this is the This is they have two versions of this, a couple versions, but they've got a stretched body version for people who are over 6 feet tall that they recommend. I'm 6'2", and I don't have that version. So it is a little tight. I mean, it's not bad. If it was straight the way it was, I would just deal with it. You know, this is life. You deal with stuff, but to go through the extra effort of putting a turbo or a supercharger and modding it up, and then you know, finishing putting the body on and all this other stuff. Alright, so you can see the thing runs very well. Now, we never dialed in the camber and caster and the toe in and stuff like that. So it does need dialed in, and it just likes the, like, you know, you can tell we were at the higher speeds. It's just kind of constantly, it's kind of walking a little bit. I mean, so it's not bad, but you know, you need to get this thing on an alignment tool and get that squared away. It is so much fun to ride. Now, not everyone rides it with a helmet. Right now, it has no windshield, so I feel much more comfortable with a helmet. I mean, I ride motorcycles for a living, and getting hit with a bug or a stone right in my face is not something I really want to do, especially when you're riding something like this. This thing really is fun, and I mean, just the power it has right now is amazing. So it is a lot of fun right now. Just the fact that it handles so well. So you're taking corners that you thought you'd be taking at 15, 20 miles an hour. You're taking them at 60. You know what I mean? You're just throwing them into that corner. It is a blast. But to throw a turbo or a supercharger on here, man, that would really be a game changer. I got it. Yeah. So watch how good this, well, I can't really show you how good it handles right here. But it's just always there. It's always right there. Now, I felt it right there. Either there's two things. Either the clutch needs to be adjusted, or realistically, the clutch needs to be replaced. Every once in a while, you will feel it. You will feel it start to slip. I'm not sure if that was tire spinning or the clutch slipping. Actually, we're gonna head back. We'll head back. We'll jump on the highway. I'll show you guys. I'll give you a nice. This is actually a cool little on-ramp on the highway. It's got two little corners on it. I'll show you guys what this thing can do. But it's a lot of fun. So the guy who had this, the guy who originally built this, you know, you buy the kit for around $8,000. That's just a frame and the pieces to put it together, and then you buy a donor car. You know, like a couple $1,000 for that. Then you take it all apart. A lot of time to take it all apart. You put the engine in and you cut the harness up. You do this work to it. They say it's around 300 hours of work. And the guy's I've got paperwork showing that he put around he has about $1,400 worth of parts in this build. A big sack of paperwork, which is less than what I'm selling the whole car for. And that's not including any of the labor that he did putting this thing together. It really is a fun build. If you're looking just to wrap up a build, and you're, you know, depending on what state you are, it's easier or harder to get these things on the road. But they got the DF Goblin Forum, and I think there's about 150 of these things out there. A bunch of guys put them together. It's actually pretty cool. It's actually pretty exciting. You know, reading up the forums and seeing how people are solving problems and getting it done. The guys that designed the Goblin, were actually aerospace. They were airplane engineers. It's a father-son team out of Texas. and they really did a great job on it. I mean, I really had big plans for this thing. It just didn't work out for me, but that doesn't mean it's not going to work out for you. Another thing that really blew my mind was, okay, one, how well this thing handled, two, how it got good accelerated, but then also how well it's, the braking was insane. I mean, this thing is weighing in at, I think, less than 1,400 pounds, which is, I mean, less than half the weight of a very small car. So you have brakes on here for a car that was made to weigh like, you know, more than double that. Put it on this thing, and this thing brakes like it brakes on a dime, which is a lot of fun. And the first couple times you do it, it kind of, you know, whoa, it braked way faster than what you thought it was going to do. So guys, if any of you guys are actually looking at buying this from me, it might be, if you were looking at buying one, and you were going to put something together like this, you are going to save a lot of money, and that's not factoring in how much you value your time at. If you're valuing your time at, let's say, $10 an hour, about 300 hours to get here. What's 10 times 300? 3,000? Or is that 30,000? I'm not thinking about math right now. You know, so figure that one out. This is a cool project. You get to jump in here. It does have a title. The guys at DF Goblin still have the title. They just never printed it for me. I was going. They make the VIN off of the latest order number. So if you wanted to call them up and just, you know, verify that, that's fine. But they've got the title. So probably what happens whenever you order like the fenders or the body, or you got to get the wing. I don't know if you need the body, depending on where you're at. You probably need fenders, but the wing is the coolest thing ever. And it's not even that expensive, but it makes this car look amazing. Whenever you get the wing, you would just call them up and say, hey, you know, this is the Goblin I bought. All the information will be in the packet, and then just be like, can you guys also send me the title for it? I think they would send. I think it's not a title, it'd probably be an MSO. It's what they'd send you, and then you would take that to your state and get that turned into a title. What's nice about it is you got this super exotic, unusual car feel to it, but it's a Cobalt. It's got Cobalt parts. You can grab these things right off the shelf and put it together. So if something breaks, alternator breaks, and I mean, you see the engine back there. It's all right there. It's all very accessible. You know, if the alternator goes bad, bam, you go to Advanced Auto Parts, pull it right off the shelf. They actually used GSXR mirrors because they have the turn signals inside the mirrors. That was a real nice, clean looking thing. Another thing, if you look down there through the steering wheel, it's EPS, electronic power steering, which is a really cool feature. Which makes it that's why the Cobalt was such a good donor vehicle. You know, electronic power steering. You don't need a big old hydro booster thing. Is it hydro booster? You don't need a big old, big old brake booster sitting up there. You know what I mean? Looking all dumb. It's got a little electronic power steering. It's fairly simple. I've known some guys that have Cobalts. They love them. They think they're very reliable cars. The regular Cobalt in its regular form is kind of a boring looking car. Wow, the whole world is just flipping out of this guy. Yeah, he was on him. I was right behind that guy. So you guys can see that this thing is It's drivable. It runs good. It's tons of fun. Let me see if I can hit this corner real fast up here. I think I said everything I pretty much know about the car. I got a big stack of paperwork. So if you guys are interested, and we could probably get this thing shipped anywhere for fairly cheap. You know, I don't think it would cost more than $500 or $600 to get this thing moved. All right, guys, that wraps it up. If you guys are interested, I'll put my information down below. Check out the DF Goblin site. A lot of cool stuff there. There's a couple other YouTubers that have this. The guy from Demolition Ranch has one. He's got the supercharged version, and he's pushing, I think, 350 horsepower, and he raced a GTR and beat it. This is a whole lot cheaper than a GTR, guys. Alright, we'll see you guys later. If you guys subscribe to the channel, thank you very much. And if you haven't subscribed, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you guys later. Also, when I transported this thing from my house to the shop, I used the tank straps. Alright, guys, that wraps it up. See you guys later. I hit the brakes real hard. It was sweet. What's up, guys? I'm Sean. Thanks for watching that great video. And as always, click down here to subscribe. And here's the next fun video for you guys to watch. We'll see you guys next time.
And that wasn't far enough away.
And I had no clue. I'm just gonna tell you guys to back off. Train your bikes. And listen, it's not what you're riding, but where you're going. We'll see you guys later.